Well, there we can see it's going to be a Jaguar leading a Mercedes from a McLaren, a Nissan, a BMW. That is the top 5 as we get ready to go racing, and we are away then. Hellsfire leading us. Benelli in second place, already having to go extremely defensive is Hellsfire. This is where it sometimes can get a little bit hairy into the first chicane on the first lap, and using a bit of the grass there was DNA Nike as we now heading towards the first chicane. Benelli looking to the outside now, could have the, contact with Hellsfire, who gets sent into a half spin. Did a good job to tip it round in the right way again. Definitely there was contact. There's a penalty already for the driver in 5th place, which is Conrado, the Brazilian driver, so that's unfortunate, and it's a 5-second penalty as well. It was Salbezo Velos who dropped down the order, has dropped down to 9th place, so unfortunate for the Uruguayan driver there, but Hellsfire leading Benelli, and we get up towards the first Lesmo for the first time.
Oh yes, one of the bollards there is removed from its station. A penalty, another penalty for Renzo S. That'll be a contact penalty there as well. So quite a messy start here in this region, and a little bit sideways coming for second Lesmo. Here is the first penalty zone, so crossing the marker now. Bam, harden the brakes, 2 seconds, 50 Ks, and you can see all the cars just streak past you. It's the worst feeling when you're there driving on board. Meanwhile, front of the field, Benelli is all over the back of Hellsfire, coming through Ascari for the first time. AMG is a good all-round car around here, but not quite as quick in a straight line as the Jaguar is, of course, or the McLaren behind it. But they've both got the toe, so that'll probably transform things slightly. Interesting enough, of course, DNA Mike still managing to hold on to third position on that hard compounder tyre. It's got Vortex behind the BMW, who have not seen many BMWs towards the front of the field here, so good to see one of them being represented well.
Yeah, Vortex in the M6 there, doing a good job, and we have a look at Vortex now, going behind the McLaren F1 GTR of DNA Nike as they head their way down to the first chicane, and Vortex seemingly having to sit in behind. That McLaren F1 is very quick in a straight line, as we know. Up ahead, Benelli still in second from the Jaguar F-Type of Hellsfire, and the incident at the start has really spread out the front of the field a little bit here. In 5th place there, we've got Turismo Jara, and then we've got Lucas Peck in 6th place. Turismo Jara, the Peruvian driver, as they come down to the second chicane for the second time.
So here we are then. Here's Vortex, Mr. Everson. It's always hard to try and discern between the team name and the actual name. We get a lot of comments about that. We try our best. So we're just reading half the time, so no excuse us for that. But again, that BMW looking fairly quick here. But BMW I think it's an M6, that one. Yeah, M6 versus a BMW-powered McLaren GT1. Sort of GTR in front. Again, the cars from completely different areas being this close to the track, and an Aston to throw in just for good measure as well in the background. I always love seeing the complete variety of cars here in GT, but we're pretty much where we were last lap. Benelli about half a second behind Hellsfire, not really able to do much about it coming out of Ascari. Bit of a better run out of there than the Hellsfire and the Jaguar, but just loses out on the acceleration, I think, afterwards. That Jag, very quick in a straight line.
I saw a bit of weaving there from Everson, I think, just applying the pressure onto Nike. But you talked about the fuel saving at the start, before the race got going. Do you think this is what Benelli's done? He's got a 1.6 second gap behind, and he's got the chance to now save some fuel?
Yeah, possibly. He might be doing that. People who don't seem to be fuel saving are these guys here. Here is Jara on board in the Aston Martin. The mighty V12, as I apparently say one too many times on the broadcast, using the toe of the McLaren and then trying to get past the BMW around the outside. Not sure that's going to work out too well. Gets very narrow here on the outside, squeezes the BMW to the inside, and the BMW turns in like he isn't there. I think it's a fair move there on Jara, but the thing is, that's what happened through there. You go alongside, and the guy on the outside goes, no, I'm going to turn in now. Well, you can't, there's a car there. So, bit robust, but you kind of have to be here at Monza.
Yeah, that was a great view there, great work by our guys to give us that one. It was, I think, as you said, it was just Vortex, just Emerson having just no idea that he was there and trying to turn in, but a great move, definitely there. Good work from Jara.
And immediately on the back of Nike.
Yeah, you can see the difference between the tyre there, now on the back of Nike. And out of the second Lesmo we go, and Nike pulling over to the right there, just trying to make it harder for him to fire the toe. Matru further back has picked up a penalty, unfortunately, in the Beetle, as they come up to Ascari now. This for the third time. Our two leaders are breaking away ever more out front. Nike in front of us. We're on board with Jara in the Aston Martin as they now head down to Parabolica, and there we go. Door opens up on the inside, but the speed in the McLaren means Jara can't step through.
There's nothing that you can do about it, really. You have to have a really long toe and then maybe duck out at the last second to do anything about that McLaren straight line speed, which is massively frustrating when you are the car behind. You're on the medium tyres, you want to go quick, go in front of some hard tyres, and just holding you up, almost pushing the McLaren there out of the Parabolica. But it doesn't matter now, because guess what? V12 is open with the McLaren and putting away from the other V12 and the Aston Martin. It's just a lot quicker. So we have our first pit stop. It's my mate Christian, he's pitted in there. He's gone to the medium compounder tyres, trying to get rid of that hard compound nice and early. Not a bad idea, to be honest. So he'll want to come out of a toe ideally. This is one of the rare circuits where you don't want to come out and have free air, because it's not actually good for you. You want to be on the toe, really.
Yeah, you can't take advantage of new tyres, as you say, even in the toe. So interesting strategy, a bold one, but trying to fight to get in the top 10. Let's see if that helps him out at all. Here we go a little bit further back. This is the battle from 7th now. This was Salbezo Velos, who ran into trouble at the start. We didn't quite see exactly what happened to him, but was definitely delayed in that Nissan. And then in 8th place here we've got the Citroen of Alex M. Interesting matchup, that one.
Yeah, it's just odd to see the Citroen out on the circuit sometimes. Again, this is really not a track for the Citroen. It's running okay, to be fair. It's up in 8th place and harrying Sabella Velos in front in the Nissan, although from his point of view he needs to be a bit higher up, really. Nissan needs to do a bit better. Have we lost in Nissan? Or am I imagining things? No, sorry, it was on the first lap, wasn't it? Sorry, I forgot.
Yes.
I thought we had another Nissan involved as well there. I'm just used to seeing them right at the top of the field, I think. But now there's one not there. It's like,
only one.
Yeah, what's going on? Meanwhile, Jara here is just pushing Nike around and through the Parabolica, but there's nothing he can do about it. You know what's happening in the background, though, because of this? Lucas there in the background in 6th position is starting to close in on this little group in the 4GT.
Yeah, good spot that. Lucas is closing in. Salbezo Velos there we can see in 7th place, just on the recovery, as that Citroen behind in 8th place, and not close enough. Just Citroen just trying to fill the mirrors, but that opens a gap on the outside, and Renzo's going to come flying down it. A little bit of contact there, messy driving, and well, even on the exit there, it's still going off.
You don't like to see that at all. So yeah, so Renzo, what happened there, mate? I want to call you out. You made a mistake. You hit the guy. You then blamed the guy and ran him off the circuit. And that with me, you'd be DQ'd with that with me. But you can't be doing that. That's not good driving. So Renzo's there with a deserved 4-second penalty. I'd give him more, to be honest, but just completely ran the Citroen off the circuit. Did not need to do that at all, but did it anyway, and they've done it on a live forum, mate. So congrats for that.
Yeah, it's very, very silly driving indeed, and really not worth it, because he's in a position where he could recover that. And let's take another look at it. I'll leave it over to you, Jimmy, to talk us through this one.
So we go through into the first chicane. It's on the outside here, a little bit of contact on the way through, and then he gets it loose, hits this guy here, and then of course Alex has nowhere to go. He then comes across the circle, continues to turn into him and pushes him off the track. He knew exactly what he was doing there.
That's a driver that doesn't belong in a top 16 Superstars race with driving like that. But nevertheless, let's not reflect on that too much longer. Let's go back to 3rd place battle. It's Nike, Jara. Then we've got Everson as well in 5th. And Lucas Peck, as we said, has been getting closer and closer in that Ford, and is now closing in on this battle for 3rd. Then we've got Salbezo Velos in 7th place, Matru in 8th, Soft one is 9th place. Alex Emmett 10th. Oh, and a dive there. Didn't quite catch that one as it happened, but Jara diving down the inside of Nike, and that was a great move to do because it has dropped the McLaren to the back of this quartet now. Everson and Lucas Beck both going through, and this has worked out brilliantly for the Ford because he's going to come up to 4th place now and potentially 3rd by the time they get to T1.
And they all went, yes, finally! And they all scrambled through in the McLaren there. The Nike Besson got put out to pasture on the exit of the Parabolica, but it was bound to happen there when Jara had no choice. He had to make a move like that somewhere to get by the McLaren. But now, if you're one of these Vortex drivers, you're thinking, well, you've got to try and keep this McLaren back now, because look how quick it is in a straight line, but practically blockading the McLaren back there. They have no interest in letting him back through again. But he's got by the BMW though. Can he get by on the brakes? No, I think you see the little flash of the brake lights there. So all right, fair enough. Like,
yeah, you win.
Yeah, I'm not gonna message you too much now, but yeah, that was a very good move by Jara, and very opportunistic one of the Vortex guys.
Yeah, Jara, usually you would not overtake into the Parabolica because you just get down into T1, but saw he had 2 drivers eager to get by behind and thought, this is it, if I go through, they're going to come through, and then I no longer have to deal with the McLaren. But Hellsfire is now going to have to deal with the Merc. Here we go on board with Benelli, and let's have a watch then as we go through Ascari.
I'm very confident that Benelli has just been coasting a lot. He must have been at this point. So we'll have a look now. He's in a close in coming down to Parabolica. Watch that input there on the bottom right. He's not quite close enough to get. I think he's lifting ever so slightly. Sounded like he was, but I'm not sure he actually was. But he has been lifting in some places. Surely, I mean that's a clever thing to do in the situation. And we're getting to the point now where we expect some pit stops coming in soon. Let's see if we get one now. No, I think Benelli is very much hoping to stay with Hellfire. I would have loved to have seen that graphic a bit longer. Here's Jara. Will he pit into Jara? Yes, pits in after finally being released from the BMW powered McLaren. Fresh set of Michelin tyres going on the medium compound, of course, and putting a bit more fuel in there. Now he comes onto the circuit.
Yeah, so definitely going to be a 2-stopper, I think, here from Jara. Comes in, puts another set of mediums on, comes out into a gap, and has soft one in the Jag just up ahead. So we'll monitor how Jara gets on, but up at the head of the field, Benelli and Hellsfire still nose to tail. There's only 4 tenths between them, and there's a close fight going on for 3rd and 4th as well between the 2 Vortex drivers. We've got Lucas Peck in 3rd place, and then Everson 90 in 4th place. So the 2 teammates, shall we say, just in different cars, in the Ford and in the BMW, right together. Nike is behind then in the McLaren, and they haven't really fought each other too hard from what I've seen, those 2. I wonder if there's an element of strategy to work with each other. Up ahead, here's Hellsfire and Benelli. How much longer do they go before they come in? Is Benelli going to wait for Hellsfire to come in and then follow, or is he going to want to see where he goes in so he can go a lap more?
I figure they'll probably follow each other in. I think that's why you see he was so close and kind of just waiting for what Hellsfire was going to do. So we might even see a very late swipe to the pitch from Hellsfire. A lot of you Everson right now, you were running ahead of your teammate, and then suddenly due to the McLaren you're suddenly behind. I mean, maybe just sit there and save a bit of fuel. We'll see what he does here. He's closing up on the back of his teammate here. No, he just wants to drive right to the back of him, so I don't think he wants to be there. I think he wants to try and be by, really. That's the message that's sending me. Oh, is it all getting a little bit of a slide there at the rear? Well called there by Everson. Will he pit in now this lap? No, they go around another time.
Nope, so the top 7 yet to come in. Of course, Jara was one of the drivers at the head of field, did come in. Soft one now comes in and goes on to another set of mediums. There we can see Lucas Peck and Everson here together. Same Vortex livery, of course. Nike in 5th. And then we've got Salbezo Velos, who is on the recovery after getting caught out in the first chicane on that first lap, which I didn't see if that was his own fault. It was through no fault of his own. But either way, up to 6th in the McLaren, and now has the in the Nissan, sorry, has the McLaren of Nike just ahead. This is becoming a duo into the 10 quartet here, because it looks as if Nike and Salbezo Velos are just starting to bring this gap down. There is a penalty for Matru, and that's going to drop him behind Jara potentially. So this could be good news for Jara who will now no longer have to do overtaking to get up to 7th.
Yeah, we'll have to see what that penalty is for. We tend to get an idea based on how long the penalty is. It just seems right now the people are starting to settle down a little bit, just trying to get into a groove and find out where they're going to be towards the end of the race. We still have the majority of the field needing to make at least one pit stop at the moment, so that will shake the things up a little bit. DNA Mike still holding on in the background there in the McLaren, just only about a second off these guys now, but you see on the hard compounder tyre, and is finally joined by his fellow hard runner as well in the Nissan. So I wonder how much longer they're going to try and keep those tyres going. You're tempted to always come in off the hard tyre. It's not a fun tyre to be on. Here we are then, pit stops, and you were right, Chris. They're both coming in at the same time. Benelli and Hellfire, both in. Will Everson come in too? Yes, he does. Who's coming for the hard compounder tyre as well? I imagine he does. So now let's see, because you see Benelli has put in quite a bit less fuel than Hellfire did. Will he come out ahead?
Well, there was 11 litres difference between them when they came in as well. So that was a substantial difference, and that's lost Hellfire time there.
Yeah, Benelli's ahead.
So Benelli's ahead. Well, yes, as you said, yeah, put in more fuel. So Benelli comes out in 5th. Hellfire drops down. So it was the difference in the fuel, I think, that did that when they came in.
You've got to keep an eye out for that, of course. It's another layer of strategy here at Monza. It gets a bit confusing actually when you're just trying to sit here and understand what's going on, but that's part of the fun of motor racing, be it of course in on Gran Turismo or on a track near you. Here is DNA Mike now. He's been overtaken by the URT driver, whose name I can really not say very well.
Salbezo Velos.
Salbezo Velos.
It's what we're going with anyway.
Yeah,
it might not be right.
It might be that. So Salbezo Velos, sorry for butchering your name, has made his way by the McLaren. And the McLaren again acting as the very expensive cork in the bottle, coming down to Ascaro, coming up to Ascaro I should say, for the 9th time. Here we are, braking about the 100-metre board into there, and just try and keep it as smooth as possible through it. This car being an MR car, very easy to get a bit of oversteer, get a little bit of a biff there through from Jara behind, and from my very limited time in karting, I know what that means. It means hurry up. It means get out of the way.
Yeah, that's where that provokes a look over the shoulder usually in karting, doesn't it? DNA Nike though. Who's that DNA Nike is chasing for 2nd?
That will be it's the driver in a Nissan.
It's a car, basically. It's a Nissan.
I know it's in the pits though.
Who's coming to the pits? You got someone into the pits, I think.
You're a bully, and I'm leaving.
Well, Salbezo Velos in, puts the medium tyres on, and that's good news. That's for Nike anyway, because the likes of Jara was getting held up there, and Jara now released in 3rd, can now try and get past DNA Nike, and of course we've got Lucas Peck out front, still leading the way, just over 2.5 seconds clear. Oh, Matt True, who's had a penalty in this race. A good move to get past Salbezo Velos, and also soft one, just about getting by. So Salbezo Velos, I think, will be a little bit frustrated to have lost a couple of places there. He's going to have to try and gain those back now, and that will lose him time.
Oh look, there's another penalty here.
That's his 3rd one at least, because I saw him serving another one earlier.
So there, another contact penalty, and just goes to show that, well, unfortunately, not learning from previous mistakes, and only has himself to blame in that instance. Meanwhile, it's all getting hot up here for 2nd and 3rd place. DNA Mike and Turismo Jara are side by side. It's a drag race down towards the Ascari chicane. Benelli and Hellfire, of course, who were fighting for the lead before, are caught up in this little fight as well. So now this is a fight for the lead with 2nd and 3rd in front of them, or 3rd and 4th. We'll work it out at the end of the pit stops, it's fine. But DNA Mike right now is at the head of it, using the power of the McLaren F1 GTR. It seems that both Benelli and Hellfire can't do much about it, though. Hellfire looking to the outside, Benelli. Jara to the outside of Mike. They're both going 2 by 2. Right around the outside goes Jara. Great move there on the fresh set of medium tyres. And DNA Mike is left to languish on the inside. I think he must come into the pits now. And Hellfire has got ahead of Benelli as well.
Well, Jara was the first to come in, one of the first to come into the leaders. Now gets back into the lead with Hellfire behind, though. Hellfire on the harder tyre. Hellfire's going to look to the outside. Who's going to be braver on the brakes? It's going to be Hellfire. So Hellfire on the Jag, in the Jag, now goes into the lead ahead of the Aston Martin. And we've got the Mercedes of Benelli in 3rd place. So these three guys who were close together at the start, back together once again as a trio, and it's race on for the lead.
Here we go then, using the slipstream and the power, but deciding to get off the power there and to save a bit of fuel. Don't really, another stop them from Jaro must be. He's on the medium compounder tyre, almost losing it there on the exit of the second chicane. So easy to do that down there, the gravel trap just on the outside, and it's a corner that rewards you for bravery. If you get it wrong though, you end up pointing the wrong way, which again I've done many times in many different games.
Indeed. Likewise, Jara though up in second there. We can see these two are escaping now. Of course, we did see Jara pushing Hellsfire along, keen to try and make a break here ahead of Benelli in third place, and so far they are doing that. Ah dear, Sabezo Velos penalty, and that was a big one.
I was about to say that actually. His name, Sabezo Velos. There you go, had a penalty.
It was a contact penalty, that one as well, wasn't it? Now
we're seeing a lot of those. It's been quite a rough split, this one, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has indeed. It's a rough start to the race, and there's been moments, several of them, throughout as well, but not between our leaders anyway. These guys have done a great job out front, and the race has stayed very, very close. Strategy-wise, where are we at though? We've got, you can see the difference between the tyres. There's not much in it at all, is there? The harder tyres for Hellsfire and Benelli, the medium tyre for Jara, and they're all still together. And are we going to see any of them stop again? I mean, Jara came in quite early, so
we must see Jara stop again, give it to the medium compounder tyre. If we can make these last to the end, I'll be very impressed, but it'd have to be end of this lap, I think, to really reap any sort of benefit.
Yeah.
I'm fairly sure he still owes the hard compound.
Right.
I think he does, so we'll come in on that. Other people going for the one stop, of course, using the hard tyre last, so we'll wait and see. Of course, right now on track he's fighting for second, but realistically I think he's a bit behind these guys after the second pit stop.
Well, he's definitely affecting the lead battle if that's the case, because Benelli now dropping back. Oh, was Nike and Soft on there, just getting a little bit aggressive with each other, but both get away with it unscathed. But Jara is definitely impacting this battle for the lead here, because it's 8 tenths now between Hellsfire and Benelli. So this is good news for Hellsfire to clear that Aston Martin out of the way. Sabezo Velos race going from bad to worse now. Another penalty, albeit a track limits one this time.
It's almost got as many penalties as Renzo there at the back of the grid. So there's a competition going on there, but not a very good one.
Yeah, and they're taking it on very differently, it's fair to say. And there is Renzo. Well, top three on screen for you now, and Jara has pulled the gap back down to Hellsfire, but surely if Jara needs to make another stop, it's better to do it now and get onto a fresh set of tyres. As we say that, there he goes.
Also that in the fuel, only 17 litres left in the tank there. They're going on to the hard Michelin compound for the last stint at the moment, fueling it up, and then it will be a drive to the line, of course. And bear in mind, the guys at the front, they've already done this. They've already got their fuel to the end, I think. So yes. I'm not sure if it's going to... Jara's got any hope of coming back. Oh my word, he comes out into traffic. Knight goes flying by. You don't want to see that on your mirrors coming out of the pit lane. A McLaren F1 GTR doing it. It's nearly his terminal velocity down there. He's having a fight though through the chicane with Grid, and I think there was a bit of contact there because they switched sides. And look how aggressive Nike is being now. He knows he has the speed over the Jaguar in front, but he's using the toe. And then Jara, of course, this allows him to get back into the fight as well. And Grid is really making it difficult for the McLaren, pulling along now, giving him as little room as he is entitled to, but still Nike somehow gets on the inside, but it's slowed down a little bit. And now Jara's going to come through as well, and soft one getting a 5-second penalty there. I can only assume for some contact. I didn't see what for.
Seems
it was a bit rough, but I wouldn't say 5 seconds rough.
No, that seems a bit harsh to me personally. It seemed, well, it didn't even seem that bad. Let's have another look. Let's see if we spot anything different this time.
So we'll see, here comes Grid. He moves to the left, then moves back over. He doesn't block, he just squeezes, which is fine. We come into the chicane now, and I don't agree with that for a 5-second penalty, but I can see why the game gave it. The game sees it as there was contact and he got pushed off.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is okay, really. But Unfortunately, that's the downside to having an automated penalty system. You get some right, you get some wrong. That one was wrong, but Nike is not thinking about that at all. He looks to the outside of Jara. I don't want to try the outside of Ascari. Well, I say that. Jara's going exploring. He comes back on the circuit. My word, does his best Ferrari F1 driver impression there. Nearly takes out Nike. Not what you want to see at all there, but just about getting through in one piece. And of course, Nike gets a position, but now he's being pushed along by Jara. I think Jara thinking, hang on, I've done this already, haven't I, in this race? This is deja vu. Looks round the outside of the McLaren. My word, he's not made that stick, has he? I think he has. I think he's gone right round the outside. What an embarrassment to the McLaren. And then, oh man, if you're Nike right now, you'll be saying some choice words underneath your helmet, I think. But it looks like they're still going to run side by side all the way down to the chicane. And of course, that Aston, as quick as it is in a straight line, not quite as quick as the McLaren in there, because the Citroen involved as well. Alex M, who got involved in a bit of an incident earlier with Renzo, he's looking for a place now, right up on the curb, sideways off the exit. And I think Jara there has just had enough of action for this race. Deep breath, Jara, mate. You're all right. Don't worry. I'm still going.
It just shows that one mistake at Ascari has led to this. It's he could have been released and on his way, but instead Jara had made that mistake, now got into a fight with Nike, and now finds himself in a fight with the Citroen as well. So mistakes are punished very heavily at this level, as demonstrated there. This is lap number 14 of 17 now. The situation remains the same between the two leaders. Well, let's go back and have a look at them now. There is Hellsfire leading Benelli. Now, what's going to be the situation here? Benelli waiting for the last 2 laps. That used to be the rule when I raced, albeit in karting. Last 2 laps is when it's like, right, you're allowed to defend now. Yeah. It's not like it was banned, but that was when it was like, okay, he's going to defend now.
So start weaving.
Basically. I think is that going to be it? Something along those lines. Wait for the final couple of laps and then go for a move.
Yeah, you kind of wonder, because then, of course, if you pass before and there's a couple of laps remaining, you're giving the other guy a chance to come back at you, especially around here. Let's see what happens here. So, okay, so they're bumping each other right now. I think they're just trying to get as far away as possible from everybody else before they start unleashing hell on each other, it seems. But coming down to the first chicane again, you see Benelli in the AMG versus Hellsfire and a Jaguar. Gets it very, very sideways, and this is as good a chance as any now for Benelli to get alongside, maybe have a move into the second chicane. We'll see what he does, because I think he has to run, but he's looking at it. Another bump.
Yep, he's waiting. Yeah, just being patient. It's either going to be the last lap move or 2 laps to try and catch out Hellsfire when he won't expect it. If you're going to do that, though, you do it surely now. Three to go. Just under that now.
Then could be the old tactic, just give him a bump, let him know you're there, let him know you're very close, and you can pass him if you want to, and that's hopefully get the heart rate up of the guy in front of you, maybe make a mistake or something, and save you actually making the move yourself. Here is another opportunity coming out of the second Lesmo up to Ascari. Will Benelli look to overtake? Will he go for another bump? He's going for another bump.
It definitely did. I mean, if you're chasing, so if Hellsfire was chasing someone, he'd actually like the fact that that him and Benelli are working together here, but because there's no one ahead of him, it's all that's doing now is adding lots and lots of pressure between Hellsfire and Benelli. They've got 8 seconds to Lucas Peck in 3rd. Now this is when I would expect Benelli to go through. If I was him, this would be it now. Go through. Benelli, you can see to the right of screen, the points leader, Jara 2nd, Hellsfire 3rd. So this is 1st and 3rd in the standings going head to head. There's no chance that points are going to change between them. So they're just going to go out to enjoy this race. And as expected, Hellsfire 2 to go. It's time to go defensive. And let's see what Benelli can do.
I think he's waiting for the last lap. We say that, but hello, that was a bit quick over the first apex there from Hellsfire. He's starting to feel that pressure, I think, that Benelli is laying on there. Now, I don't think bump drafting is against regulations. I know it's not allowed in the World Tour events. I'm not sure if it's against the actual regulations here or not, but it's definitely a way to be seen. And Benelli looks to the inside there, again, thinks better of it. I think he's really trying to get Hellsfire busy in his mirror, just keep looking behind you, don't look in front. But the thing is, as you said, before, Chris, if you're going to make a move on the final lap, you've got to be confident you can do it, because you've only got one lap to do it.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those things, you add pressure to yourself, well, at least from an outside perspective, that's what you're basically doing. We've seen it before, though. It's a tactic which is dangerous, but if it works, then it's perfect. You look like an absolute genius, but if it doesn't work, then you look like you just wanted to settle for second, or at least that's what you tell people anyway. Into Ascari we go for the penultimate time, and this is it. Let's get ready for a race for the lead, because the top two are about to go head-to-head in one lap here. At the end of 16 laps, the situation is this. Two drivers in the Jaguar and the Mercedes, nose to tail. 16 laps, we haven't been able to split the pair. Will one more lap bring a gap? Who is going to be in the lead at the end of the next one?
A bit wide there from Housefire's kicking up a little bit of dust. There's no grip out there now. Benelli, this is his best chance he's going to have to take the lead of this race. He goes right to the inside. He wants the inside line there coming into the first chicane. He's going to get squeezed into the pit wall at the moment. He's almost off track onto the grass. Will Hellfire give him room? He doesn't. Holds the line. Benelli keeps the inside line. Late on the brakes. Can he get up inside there? The Jaguar, he does there on the curb. A little bit of contact forces him over the curb on the inside. That might be a penalty for Hellfire. No, it's a 3-second penalty for Benelli. And that is what happens when you leave it to the last lap. You get desperate. And just like that, the fight is over, and Hellfire breathes a sigh of relief. How anticlimactic was that? My word.
I guess we can fill it with a replay, hopefully, and have another look at it. And indeed, just on cue. So at that point, Benelli was about to head into a headload of grass. Dives down the inside now, thinks this is probably his only opportunity, and there's just that contact there. Hellfire nowhere else to go over the curbs, and Benelli 3-second penalty. A shame, because definitely I don't think there was any intent to do what he did, but it's the rules are the rules, I guess.
What you're seeing now is, look, Benelli was faster.
Yeah.
So you think, why didn't you wait?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But hey ho, maybe the Hellfire just knows that Benelli's getting a penalty, so he's not really trying now. Here comes that 3-second penalty, and just like that, Hellfire, big grin in his face. Goodbye, mate. See you later. Wins mine. I'll take that.
But them two working together, what that did do anyway is mean that Benelli will definitely get second place at least. So, well, Hellfire, Ascari chicane, and one corner to go. Out of the Ascari chicane they go now, and it's been a very good drive from Hellfire himself and Benelli going head to head. Hellfire sustained the pressure of Benelli for a long time. Benelli did try the move, and Hellfire put a stern enough defence to lead to a penalty for Benelli. So drove very well, tactics spot on from the pair of them, half the race on the medium, half on the hards, and getting to the line first, it's the Jaguar. Hellfire takes the win at Monza in round number 10. Benelli will be in second place. Lucas Peck finishes in third place. Fourth place is going to be Everson 90 in the BMW. Alex M will be fifth. Good drive in the Citroen, climbed up the field nicely there. DNA Nike finishes in sixth, then Turismo Jara, those two battling all the way to the end in seventh